and he breaks free down the middle of the field, and that is going to be no one other than KJ Smith, and he's in for a touchdown.
The Bulldog Radio Network proudly presents the Coach Gray Show on 102.7 FM, Kearney's hometown radio station. And now, here are the hosts of the show, Mike Davis, Jim Dickerson, and Coach Josh Gray.
Yeah. Let's go, Bulldogs. Let's go, 49-8. Welcome to the Coach Gray Show. That's exactly the score from last week's game. Welcome to the Coach Gray Show, Coach. I'll settle down a little bit. I'm just a little excited. We're at 500. Good to see you here.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me back. Appreciate
It was 49-0 at halftime, and it was pretty clear that, you know, we were dominating. And we talked just briefly off the air about it, but I think you have a philosophy about, you know, playing these kinds of games where it's a little bit, you know, it gets lopsided. And there are a lot of factors that come into play, some of the things that you're thinking about, and you do have to respect, you know, these other guys. We talked about it in the booth, that these guys, listen, they showed up. And we know that there was no secret. These guys were, well, they're 0-6 now, Raytown South. But that doesn't mean that these guys can't break one loose on you, or maybe two. I mean, does that kind of cross your mind?
Yeah, the thing is, you know, it does. And you want, you know, you got to make sure you're teaching your kids how to come out and how to perform and be consistent the entire game, and not, you know, relax and not play up to their capability. And, you know, that's an explosive football team. And they've got some weapons. And, you know, I think as a coach, you want to make sure that your guys are dialed in the entire time, the entire game, regardless of who goes in and what you're doing. You got to make sure that you're playing how you can play, and not, you know, not necessarily play down, but not play what you're capable of doing, and keeping them dialed in the entire game. And that can be, you know, when the game gets, you know, you get a lead and it keeps going a little bit. Sometimes that's hard for young men to understand where they're at, and that they still got to play the football game that the other team is going to play, and you got to be ready. And so, you know, I think that's the big piece as a coach. You want to make sure, you know, as you go through the game, and you want to finish how you started the game, and make sure you're executing. We were able to get some young guys in, which was great, and get them some Friday night experience. I heard a few of them say the other day, it's so much different underneath the lights and the crowd. I'm like, it is, you know, and it is. I mean, it is different. It's different. The atmosphere is different. We had a great crowd, and you want those guys got that to experience that, which is great. To get them in on the field, and but you got to stay dialed in, and you got to do your job, and you got to make sure you're performing the way you're coached to do, and not let up.
I think that's right.
Gets in there.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And you talked about playing down to competition. Listen, you hear people from time to time talk about that in the NFL. And here we're talking about probably the best 1,600 players on the planet in the NFL. And, yeah, they're all good. Everybody's on scholarship in the NFL. So, you know, that can be brought into an argument about a lopsided score at that level. But I think you know, at this level, the high school level, you've really got to be careful about playing down to somebody's level.
Yeah, and that's a good football team.
Yeah,
I mean, they were able to do some things offensively and defensively against us that, you know, we you know, again, like I say, every week we go back, watch the film Friday and Saturday, and go through things that we need to get cleaned up, and make sure that we're ready to go and improve on, and highlight the things that we did well, which there was a lot of great things that our guys did over and over throughout the game, and that they have consistently gotten better each week from the start of the season to this point. And, you know, those mistakes that we were making we're definitely getting better. So it was great to see, and great for our guys, and proud of our athletes that come every day to practice. You know, we appreciate that piece, and they understand that why they're there and why they come to practice, and they've got a sense of purpose and a sense of urgency about them now, and it's a fun group to coach for sure.
Man, it looks like it. KJ Smith was 225 yards of rushing, averaging 18.8 yards per carry. The guy just continues to amaze, and you know, I know one thing: there was speed on that other side, so these guys had the ability to catch him, or at least, you know, get an angle on him and stop him. Now, that didn't happen throughout the night, obviously, but he had a lot of great blocking on the O-line, and he also had a lot of great blocking downfield, which I saw.
Yeah.
How about that?
You know, talking about KJ, I mean, I think he rushed it 12 times. Is that what it was?
12 carries,
12
for
carries
225.
That's a pretty good first half for him. I mean, he like I've said before, he's very modest, and gives all credit to the O-line, and he takes the O-line or takes them out Saturday mornings, and treats them. And I don't know if he buys them donuts or what they get, maybe breakfast sandwich. I don't know what he does, but he takes care of the O-line.
Mike doesn't even do that for me.
Yeah, well, Mike, maybe.
They call me one way. They name me after a street.
But he takes care of them. And, you know, our O-line did a great job up front, leading the way. You know, you got the tip of the spear, Lucas Starr, just taking control and leading that group. And, you know, Briggs Terwilliger, one of our guards, is a senior. And we got obviously quite a few seniors on the O-line. And we've talked about them quite a bit with Keenan McNally and, you know, Connor Smith. You know, Connor is you know, you look at him, and as you look across the line, you know, we got Carter Schmidt, we got Lucas, we got Briggs, is 6 foot. You got Keenan, you know, and Connor just is a gritty, hard-nosed kid that just comes to play, and, you know, everything that helps him and that continues to help him each week is, you know, his strength, and utilizes that and his leverage and his ability. He's done a great job this year, and has really, you know, I think, I don't want to say surprised himself, because we knew it was always there, but, you know, is playing really well and has done a great job. So Connor there has done that. And like you said, we've had our receivers do a heck of a job downfield blocking for each other and making some crucial blocks. And, you know, those guys out on the perimeter, wherever, you know, if it's a perimeter run or up the middle or whatever, wherever it's at, you know, those wide receivers have a huge part, because, you know, Hayden Douglas and Logan Ariano and Acosta and all those guys, the guys, Bates, when they're downfield, you know, that's the difference between either getting a first down or not, if they are able to sustain a block, or between a touchdown. I mean, there's some big blocks downfield that our guys really take pride in, and doing their part in making the play work. And, you know, they do a great job of taking pride in blocking. You know, it's kind of it's kind of like what I kind of tell the running backs: if you don't block, you don't get the rock. And they, you know, those receivers are kind of the same way, and they take pride in that. So it's great to see everybody do their part on each play and elevate themselves and what they can do.
Going back to KJ for just a second, it was kind of interesting because in the first half, he was on pace to break the record for rushing. The record is 335 or something.
I think that's right. By Broughton
in 2013, if I'm not mistaken. And it's kind of, it puts you in a weird position because, the problem is to do that, you would have to run, I mean, it would have been 120 to nothing. But we were excited, but at the same time we knew
we knew what Coach Gray would do.
Well, you know, I think it's great for our guys to get out and compete, and I didn't know that stat. And you know, I think KJ, I don't probably realize.
He probably didn't know.
Doesn't realize either. Is, you know, he's a humble cat. And,
we have great statisticians.
That's
up in
good.
the booth, so yeah.
So, you know, records like that, obviously, you want your guys to go out and perform and do the best they can. And, if those things are able to happen, then that's great. And, but we felt we needed to work some other guys through in the second half.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, you couldn't. It would almost diminish it if you did it, just to do it like that. So,
yeah.
But he was killing.
He's fun to watch run.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And I know I've talked about him before with his vision and things. And it just continues to elevate himself and separate himself. And
he is not easy to bring down.
No, because he gives second, third, fourth.
Yes.
I mean, it takes quite a few guys to bring him down, if any.
Right. There's not a lot of hesitation either. When he plants a foot, he goes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, when you'll see him
that
sometimes.
Vertical,
right.
And he's not afraid to lower his shoulder.
Yes.
When he needs to, and that's the big piece with those guys is making sure keep those pistons going, keep your legs driving and going, and he just does a great job with that.
Go ahead, Jim.
Who I think was perfect on the night was Breedlove. I think was he? I don't have the stat sheet in front of me, but I think he was 7 for 7.
7 for 7. Right? He was, yeah.
So good night.
Got good memory.
Breedlove.
It was a good night for him.
The man is back.
Good to have him there.
No field goal attempts.
Wasn't necessary.
Yeah, true. Well, there's that, but it was good to see him back in action.
Yeah, it's good to have him back in more than one way.
So we've talked about this before, and you begin to take it for granted. So Breedlove in the ability to kick field goals, and then Acosta is a great punter. I mean, he can put some really nice punts down. And for those of you who were at the game Friday, you saw on the other side what happens when you don't have a punter.
Oh, my goodness.
From a field position standpoint, it is devastating, and we take it for granted because we've got Acosta doing it, and he's really good at it.
And we've got an all-state punter.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so, but honestly, I don't know their strategy, but if they were punting from the 20-yard line, I'm surprised if we didn't take. You'd almost be just better to run a play.
It was hard to watch
at that time.
Yeah,
But I guess what I'm saying is you take that for granted, but we have a really good situation in the kicking game.
Yeah, I mean our kickers and even our guys that are behind, Ian and Braxton, Drake Cole is a heck of a punter.
Well, we saw that,
and we'll boom some, and I think with that piece, it is important, and we take a lot. Our punt team is kind of one of the top priority pieces that we always. That's the one that's going to get you out of the hole. You better either make sure you're blocking your guy. I mean that is one of the our top priority as far as our special teams goes, and those guys take a lot of pride in that piece, and it's good to have somebody back there that can flip the field pretty quick, if need be. And Ian does a great job of punting it, and so does Drake.
Well, it didn't come up Friday, but the kicking game, especially in today's environment, has become so important because you have so many games that come down to a
1 point, or a field,
a field goal wins it. And if you don't have a kicker, or
a
quite
punter.
Frankly, if you don't punt properly and put the ball where it needs to be,
it could put you in a difficult situation for sure.
And it did. Hey, I wanted to. You'd mentioned Lucas Starr, and he is this week's for us. We named him the 102.7 FM Stables Player of the Week, number 51. He's a captain on your team, and I indicated that he's every week he plays a pivotal role in the center of the offensive line. And this is a guy that just shows up, and I saw that I had him marked down as a captain. I think on the first game that you guys played this season, and I thought, okay, this kid is a captain for a reason. Let's talk about Lucas Starr.
Yeah, Luke has been, he lives and breathes just like a lot of our guys, but Lucas is just a bulldog through and through, and takes a lot of pride in what he does, how he performs. And takes a lot of, it's serious business, and which is what you want on your team, right? Regardless of who. But, Luke is, big weight room guy, works his tail off, leads well in the locker room, on the field. He's the only player that gets to touch the ball every snap. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, the center. That was kind of a joke. Go ahead and hit the crickets. All right. But no, Luke, I love Luke to death. He is a hardworking kid and is a great example and leads by example, but is also vocal when things need to get dialed in, and rallies the guys together. And, his play speaks for itself. I mean, he's had a fantastic senior year with a lot more to come. And, can't talk enough about Lucas.
It shows. It shows down on the field, and we don't know him personally, but I'm sure he's a terrific guy. Comes from good stock too, because his mom is she's the head of the
quarterback club.
Yeah, absolutely. She's going to keep him in line if nobody does.
Right.
We know.
Yes,
we
she
know
will.
this. You're listening to the Coach Gray Show. Stay with us. We'll be right back with more from the coach.
A special thank you going out to underwriters like these for their support of KPGZ.
I'm Sean Barber, owner of Stables Local Kitchen and Patio in Kearney. Stables is a Kearney thing. We are all about our Kearney community. We love to be the place where people get together. Stables features a full menu with a scratch kitchen, offering lunch and dinner options. Stables has been a proud member of the Kearney community for almost 20 years, and we are very appreciative of the ongoing support from this wonderful community. You can check us out online at stables816.com, and Stables is part of the True 816 family. Eat, drink, local.
Celebrate fall with the Holiday Trio. Bees Flowers and Gifts is offering 3 months of unique flower arrangements to share and celebrate those special months of October, November, and December. Each bouquet features a seasonally themed assortment delivered in a charming holiday vase. The Holiday Trio is now available at Bees Flowers and Gifts, 100 West Washington Street in Kearney, 816-628-6811, and their website is beesflowers.com. Bees, your first choice for flowers.
And we're back on the Coach Gray Show, and we're watching some video highlights thanks to our producer, Brian Watts, who does a real nice job of not only producing the game right there at the field.
He has many talents.
He takes the pictures.
He does video,
yeah,
all sorts of stuff.
I mean, so we've got some really good footage of the game. Not the whole thing, but some nice stuff, and it's always good to see. Coming off a 49-8 victory, the Kearney Bulldogs are, and what a good night we had, and boy, oh boy, go, Jim, go.
Forgot, KJ was up for homecoming king. Not queen. Did they call it king? Is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay, he was up for king, wasn't he?
He was. He did.
So
He was up for king.
What went wrong, guys?
That is not in my hands. Our job was Friday night. The other stuff is, yeah.
But congratulations to him. We were commenting. Yeah.
This is why Jim interrupted me right here, folks. This is what I deal with.
My job is to derail the show. I've done that.
Well done, sir.
Thank you.
Yep.
I can go now.
Casey Rooney, quarterback, sophomore quarterback. I try not to mention that in the articles that we write, but sometimes I can't help myself because it's nice to have a kid that you know who's coming along, doing a great job. Plus, he was in, Brian, do we have the play of the game? queued up. I want to make sure that we get this on, but I want to mention that Bees Flowers sponsors the play of the game for the Kearney Bulldogs. Let's listen to this play. It's a pass between Casey Rooney to Ian Acosta. Yes, and wow, what a play! Let's listen to this one.
The ball rests at about the 34-yard line. Rooney looking to throw, looks deep downfield. He's got Acosta in the end zone, touchdown!
Wow, just
Ian Acosta lays out for a touchdown, and in one play, a 33-yard touchdown pass, Rooney to Acosta.
Acosta was well covered. Let me just tell you, there's something about that young man. He has got concentration, the ability to follow that ball in the air. I mean, he was well covered, Jim Kelly. I'm telling you, there was no reason to expect that anybody could catch that ball. And it was beautifully thrown.
I agree with you. I tell you, one of the things watching Casey, this is a good game for him. His mechanics look really good. His ball fakes, he's very relaxed. And he's a young starting quarterback, so that's going to pay dividends for the rest of the season, get him some confidence. But a great ball by Casey and a good catch by Ian.
Ooh. I like that. Big timpani right there.
I'm awake now.
What about these guys, both of them, Coach?
Yeah, that was a good hookup right there, wasn't it? They, I think the one thing with Casey first, over the past, I don't know how many weeks now, he's been back there. He's done a great job. He's gotten more comfortable, a lot more relaxed back there, and lets the game kind of come to him, not try to do too much, but what a great ball he dialed in there to Ian, and he just continues to get better each week. And I think that progress obviously is definitely gonna continue on for him. I mean, he's a pretty dialed in kid, watching film and studying, and pretty focused on what needs to happen during the week, during practice, and then obviously on Friday nights. But and Ian being a playmaker he is, I mean. Casey threw that in the right spot, the right time, and Ian, super athletic and has great speed and just made a heck of a catch, and dialed it in for the touchdown.
Well, he did, and I think that was what I noticed, that he was so well covered. He was nearly blanketed, and yet he had that sort of tracking ability to know where that ball was from the minute that Casey Rooney let go of it. And I mean, and here's a defender right all over him, and I mean, it was like perfection.
It dropped it in the right spot.
Yes.
And great concentration by Ian, and I think to add a little bit more about Ian, and I know I talked about the wide receivers taking pride in blocking, but Ian is, you want to talk about a kid that just loves to go get physical and block and take pride in that. He does. So I know he makes great plays that you see like that, like play of the game, but there's things that you don't see unless you rewind it or watch the film is him, making these huge blocks downfield or, on the backside so the corner can't, the corner can't work over the top to get to the play, and just does a great job of blocking as well. And, he's just a playmaker across the board, like we've said,
And when
yes.
you talk about Rooney too, there's a level of comfort that the receivers are starting to probably get with him as they get more experience in game time speed.
Yeah, and one of the plays, if you're watching on TV, one of the plays right before we came back was the pass from Rooney to Hayden Douglas on the side on a little stop route on the sideline. Great ball, great catch. Only place to put it was where Hayden could catch it, and Hayden got great hands and made the catch. And I think talking about the familiarity with the receivers and Casey, I think that continued piece over and over and through the weeks, it's starting to show. And those guys are definitely getting comfortable. And, obviously speed of your receivers are different, and the routes that they're running are different. And that whole timing piece is coming along quite well.
Yeah, you talk about speed. First of all, Ian had he was 3 receptions for 55 yards and a touchdown, and Hayden Douglas had the one catch, but it was look, any catch is good, but it was a 6-yard catch and a nice pass and catch from
Yeah.
both of those guys. But I also want to talk about Logan Ariano because he's got this amazing speed, and you can see it when he gets the ball in his hands, and if he's trying to make a cut or if he's trying to get around the outside edge on offense. I mean, he makes the turn, and the guy's just a burner. But he had 3 receptions for 55 yards. And let's talk about that guy, Logan Ariano.
Yeah, Logan has just continued to progress through the season, and we've got some weapons, obviously, on the perimeter with our receivers, and Logan is a huge piece of that. And I think with him, his route running ability has continued to get better. His ability to continue to block and all those things. But you talk about his speed and what he can do after he gets the ball in his hand, whether it's a run play or whether he's catching a ball. I mean, he is a downfield. He's just obviously another huge weapon about getting the ball in his hand and then doing something with it that, he's one of the fastest dudes in the state of Missouri. I mean, for Pete's sakes, it's somebody trying to catch him is going to be kind of difficult. So he does a great job.
Yeah, you as you watch a fast football team, you're thinking, well, it's at the time you're looking at the game, there's 22 kids on the field, and they're all fast. Well, we have an opportunity to see with the amount of speed that you've got on this squad, this particular squad, so many guys that when they do break loose, all of a sudden you get to see the breakaway speed that they have when defenders just can't catch them, even if they get an angle on them.
Yeah, and, having those guys back there or around, it's getting the ball to them all at different times. And I think we do a great job of keeping people on their toes and moving the ball around to different people and executing. And, I think that's a testament to, our guys being ready to make those plays when it's their time, and then be executing that when it is.
You've got an all-around football player, number 14, Zach Grace. I mean, this guy, he had a couple of catches for 47 yards, two nice catches and a touchdown. And I've seen this little shovel pass thing and I've seen him take a direct snap. I've seen him do a number of things. And I mean, this guy just never ceases to amaze.
Yeah. We've got some nice little things to get the ball in his hands.
That's as much as you're going to hear.
I like the long pause.
Yes.
Well,
there's just when you got athletes like that are very talented.
Yeah.
And when you get the ball in their hands, just make plays and run guys over or step over or whatever it is. I mean, he just
and on defense too.
Yeah, and he's he's a
great linebacker,
a wrecking there too, and he's and one of the nicest kids. And I know, and I'll say it again probably for a long time, but he is quiet, somewhat reserved, off the field, and then it's dialed in, ready to go do work when the game starts or at practice. And what a great kid.
Man, you just when you see the ball in his hands and he is like a freight train barreling down the field.
He is.
And I mean knocking people over. And I'm sorry, the first two guys that try to tackle him, guys, forget about it. You will not stop him. You just can't. And if you think you're going to get above the waist and maybe grab him, up around the shoulders or whatever, no. And even I see guys, the first two generally bounce off him in first two contacts. And then it takes another, half a dozen guys to bring him down.
Finish the job. Yeah.
Wow.
And that's
what a weapon.
He is a weapon. And, I think his mindset, every time he gets the ball in his hand is, he obviously wants to perform well, right? But he's doing it for his teammates. He knows that without the O-line doing their job, some of those things that we do with him aren't going to happen. And another, just like KJ, it goes all back to those guys that set the play up for him, whether that's, the O-line that's doing their job or the play fake or whatever it is that goes along with that to get the ball in his hand. He knows how that's set up and is just a hard-working kid, 5 days a week in the weight room, and then when it's time to go to town on payday on Friday night, he's ready to execute.
Yeah. Payday. I like the sound of that. Isaac Bates.
You guys are getting paid?
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, we get paid on Friday when we get to play the football game.
You know that?
That's our payday. We work hard all 4 days, and Fridays just take
your
go
check.
have fun. That's right.
Isaac Bates is another guy who I seem to hear his number called a lot when Jim Dickerson is giving the play-by-play action. And I mean, here's another guy. I mean, this list is long on all these receivers on here. Just Logan Ariano, Isaac Bates, Ian Acosta, Hayden Douglas, Zach Grace, Brock Stout, Jake Gregory. We'll talk about those guys more in a minute. But Isaac Bates is a guy we continually see him out there making plays.
And he is a detailed kid. His scouting report that he looks, I mean, everything that we do, he is dialed in, wants to make sure he's got everything right. And, another kid that worked his tail off, became a senior, and earned a piece of getting on the field, and has done a tremendous job of trusting the process, of going through everything. And then opportunity arises, and then he steps up to the occasion. And what a they're all great kids, but so I could say that about everybody that we talk about, right? But his work ethic, his ability to, he's got his priorities in check, and wanting to do, not for himself, but for the team and for his brothers on the team, and to make sure when his number's called, or whenever he has an opportunity, whatever that is, when he's doing his job, to execute the right way. And what better way to lead than by example in that manner. And he does that week in and week out and through the summer. And happy for him that he has stepped up and has been able to do what he's able to do. It's fun to watch.
And as we've seen the roster sort of filter in guys that have come into their own this season, that were might have been backups last year, just learning the craft and get their mind right.
And that's and I think with this senior class, because we have quite a few that this is their first time starting.
Yeah.
And what a great way to show the rest of the team, or those young guys, the time will be right when the time is right. You got to trust where you're at and the process of going through what you need to learn, and how to go execute on a Friday night where you're playing against great competition, and understand that process of going through that. And a lot of these guys that are starting for the first time this year dominated JV. They went through that part of executing at the JV level, and when they get their opportunity, then by golly, they take care of business. And sometimes that gets lost. I think in today's want it right now society, and I need it right now, and if I'm not, then I'm out. That's not how life is. That's not how it goes. And if there's anything that I think the football teaches you, it's a lot about life and how you got to be able to fight through adversity, to work hard and continue to trust what you're doing, and your time will come, and the time will be there. And when it is, you'll be ready for that. And you got to trust the people around you to put you in the right position. And I think our guys got that down, and they understand, obviously they all want to play on a Friday night, right? What kid doesn't want to? You ask half the junior high kids that are running around at the game and watching the game, they would love to be out there on a Friday night, but the process has got to be the process to do that.
Yeah, and it's interesting how the level of play advances so quickly, level to level. So you may be a stud JV today, and then you step onto the senior field, and all of a sudden that goes away.
Yeah, those lights go.
Game speed changes everything.
The lights start buzzing, and that game speed is a big difference. And like I said before, a lot of those guys that got on the field on Friday, it's a lot different. It's a lot faster. It's a lot different feel to the football game.
I want to talk about a couple of those guys, but I did want to mention, and Jim mentioned early, that Braxton Breedlove is back, and with 7-point afters, and he was your Special Forces Player of the Week, and then you had Luke Nolan, who just shows up. I mean, the guy is amazing as your safety and your secondary. And then Casey Rooney on offense. Hello. Yeah, congratulations to Casey being your player of the week. And big old, who is he? Keenan McNally, number 77. He's just, he's hard to see down on the field. Easy to miss.
So I have a question on the pictures here. That isn't accurate. Keenan, he's a little bigger than that if he was standing next to those guys.
They all look,
They all look kind of
They all look even there. I think that's just because, obviously you want those pictures to look
fair.
You want them to look fair, right? They gotta.
Right.
You got to adjust that lens a little bit. Those photographers have that good equipment.
This picture, you're right, though, Jim. It does nothing to show the size of this man.
Keenan
he is a man.
If they're standing next to each other, do not look like that in any way. But
you are correct, sir.
That, and I didn't want to jump ahead of you, Mike, but I was going to talk about the defense for a minute.
Yeah, let's do.
Because, they have been holding teams to nothing or 3 or last week was a little anomaly when we got second half. So that's because you got different players playing and
expectations. The expectation.
Yeah, I knew that was going to come up. I got about halfway through my sentence and I was like, "This is wrong." But anyway,
sorry, I didn't mean to. Go ahead.
But the defense has been solid.
They have
solid.
They have, and they just like the offense continues to grow, so does the defense. And I think defensively, the one thing our guys are clicking on is. We talk about alignment and assignment, and, as you continue to go through the season, the more things you see and the more they're able to, remember, okay, well, maybe we didn't see this formation from this team, but we saw it last week. So prior knowledge comes in. Okay, how am I going to get lined up? I think our tackling has gotten a lot better. I think just that confidence in ourselves as we've gone through the season has made a huge impact. And, they're playing with a lot of swagger. They're playing with a lot of, confidence as they go through it. And, the more they play, the more they play. And the more they play, the better they get. And each week, I think, if I remember back early on in the season where we lost a couple and, we're growing. And we are still growing. And that's the thing. I think, we weren't where, for whatever reason, it wasn't there. And then we've grown, we've gotten better. And regardless of who you're playing, you can play whoever you want, whatever level you want. And I think, a team that hadn't won a game or a team that's 6-0 or whatever.
Right.
It's about the execution. It doesn't matter. I mean, they're still going to do stuff. They're still playing the game of football, and you still got to execute. And we're seeing as we go through the game and as we watch it that, things are clicking. It's just that
it's neat to see.
It's great, yeah. And that's, as a coach, you're like, dang, all right. It's good to see us not make those mistakes that we've made in the past, and that we are learning, and we're doing it. With confidence and with that knowing that, okay, if I did mess up, I'm not going to let that snowball into the next one and the next one and the next one. It's like, all right, regroup, flush that play, and it's time for the next down.
Let's take a break, and then I want to make sure we leave enough time to talk about Grandview. But I do want to cover a couple more things here on the defense. I'm looking at the list of tackles. I'm looking at all these guys. Everybody was involved. It's just amazing. You're listening to the Coach Gray Show. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Programming heard on KPGZ is being underwritten by these local businesses.
I'm Sean Barber, owner of Stables Local Kitchen and Patio in Kearney. Stables is a Kearney thing. We are all about our Kearney community. We love to be the place where people get together. Stables features a full menu with a scratch kitchen, offering lunch and dinner options. Stables has been a proud member of the Kearney community for almost 20 years, and we are very appreciative of the ongoing support from this wonderful community. You can check us out online at stables816.com, and Stables is part of the True 816 family. Eat, drink, local.
Celebrate fall with the Holiday Trio. Bees Flowers and Gifts is offering 3 months of unique flower arrangements to share and celebrate those special months of October, November, and December. Each bouquet features a seasonally themed assortment delivered in a charming holiday vase. The Holiday Trio is now available at Bees Flowers and Gifts, 100 West Washington Street in Kearney, 816-628-6811, and their website is beesflowers.com. Bees, your first choice for flowers.
Oh, man, that's good. That's some good football right there. Nice job, Brian Watts, on the video. Welcome back to the Coach Gray Show. I did want to mention real quickly, too, there's so many guys, Coach, on this list. You have a list of tackles and who made what, who did what. And, of course, we talked about Luke Nolan had a total tackles of 7. 6 of those were solo. We talk about him being a guy out on an island. We do this every week. Yeah. I mean, this is how consistent the guy is. And it's hard not to notice him out there just getting his head in the game, and then I'm getting his head in on some tackles,
He, it sounds like a broken record every week, but, I think with him is he's gotten, as his progression through the season, he's gotten, I think at times early on, you can be so ready to fly downhill and so ready to go make that play, and that you get caught sometimes in what your job is. And he's been patient and has really elevated his game in that manner to where he's just not that he's ever out of control, but where he's out of position of what he's supposed to be doing at times, because he wants to get to the football and he wants to get there fast because he wants to make the play. I mean, that's his mindset, and he's elevated his game, I feel, by being a little bit more patient at times. And sometimes that's hard as a coach for me. I'm like, why are you not at the ball faster? And I'm like, shut your mouth, Coach Gray. Right. Keep your mouth shut and just let him play the game because he's doing a dang good job of it.
He absolutely is. Yeah. What I see, what he doesn't do is whiff. And guys with speed, oftentimes you'll see that in football, that they don't break down or something, and especially when they're barreling in, and you get them in the backfield. I mean, in the opposing team's offensive backfield, and they're there, and they whiff on the quarterback, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating to the player. It's frustrating to the people watching the player. But I don't see that with Luke Nolan at all. I mean, he squares up. Yeah.
And even if the guy makes a move and he's coming down there, he's able to get him down.
Yeah.
Maybe not by the perfect tackle, but is able to break it because he buzzes his feet well and breaks down well. But is able to bring him down. If the guy does make a move and he, is not quite in exactly the right position at that particular second, he's able to bring him down, which obviously is the main goal, is to go the opposite direction with the football.
Yeah, well, I think it's a thing that even in the NFL you'll see it now, where a guy will whiff on somebody, and there you see these great quarterbacks that have the ability to. I know where you're going with this, Jim. I saw you. Well, you're going to complain about the Chiefs.
No, not going to.
All right. Well, I mean,
the Chiefs were horrible.
That's right. I called that one, didn't I? Right. So anyway, the fact that you coach that with speedy players, with guys that can bust through, and particularly on a safety blitz, or you're going to send a corner or whatever.
Right.
That if you get them back, there's half the battle.
I think our open field tackling, to kind of piggyback with that piece, has gotten a lot better of how how far our defense has come, throughout the season is, our guys are understanding leverage a little bit better and buzzing their feet, breaking down, being under control to make those perimeter plays. Because, if you could say all you want, if a corner isn't there and doesn't make the tackle, that dude's gone. And that's not good for the Bulldogs.
Well, and if you look at the stats from last Friday's game, your whole defense was involved. But,
Yeah.
Raytown may be 0-6, but they've got some speedy guys on there, and you guys did a great job of corralling them and getting them down.
I saw that
And making
containment around the
plays.
edges. Yes.
Making plays when we needed to is,
Yep.
and they do. They have some playmakers, and they've got some big play capabilities, and they were able to hit us on a couple. And, I think those are things that each week, regardless of who you're playing, as a coach, you're always like, man, doesn't matter who it is. You got to be ready to go, and you got to be ready to go for 4 quarters. And,
we saw
because
it
it
early.
is dangerous.
Yeah, early on in the game. In fact, I made mention of it. Try to be fair. And, I think our defenders noticed that all of a sudden, wait a minute, these guys are faster than we might perhaps have given them credit for, because there were some slip tackles and things that were, but it didn't take long to clean it up, but thanks to the coaching. But I thought, these guys woke up and said, okay, this is a team out here that we need to contend with. And every week I look at Darren Langford and Will Lincoln and the guys that linebacking core. Braxton Breedlove he had one tackle for loss. He had a total of 5 tackles. These guys were just a force last week. Yeah,
they are, and I think each week. I sound like a broken record again. I
Well,
gotta come
I
up
do
with something
too.
else to
Yeah.
say. I don't know, but they just continue to get better, and they study, and that's the key piece, is taking 10 minutes, 15 minutes here and there to sit down and study the film, study your scouting report, what it is that you're supposed to do on whatever we're doing, and they take that to heart, and because they want to. Obviously they want to perform well, and they do a great job of that, and they've just continued to build confidence. And Darren, again, what a great game he had. Him and Will, and that combination with those guys, doing a great job. Wilmus played some linebacker and did a great job of coming in and being effective and performing when it's, like I said, when it's your time, you better be ready. And
he's a junior.
He's a junior, Hagen Wilmus. Yep.
He had a tackle for loss.
And so those are the things that you continue to see as those guys that come in. Cameron Emmons came in, was in, and did a good job. And so, they're taking advantage of the opportunity that they're given, regardless if it's a senior or whatever. They take pride in what it is, and they're, they think like linebacker. Those are linebacker. A linebacker mentality, and I don't want to, go off on a long tangent and go back to my defensive days of coaching and get all fired up, but they're different. All right, kind of like D linemen. You think differently. There's just a different, you're kind of wired just a little bit different, and they play physical, they play intense, they, are wreaking havoc wherever they go, working to get off blocks and executing, and I think that's how they're playing right now. And what stemmed that, I think, is just the confidence in themselves over the long haul thus far, has put them in that position. And I can do that. And it shows. And that's a week in, week out thing. And I think our D line has done a great job and continued to grow. And we move some guys in and out, and some of our O line are playing D line and do a great job of working guys in and out of that piece. I think that's important. You see Zach, our tight end, and he's also plays D line, and Briggs plays both ways. Connor gets in there on D line as well, playing offense. So we got some guys, and we got some younger guys that are getting themselves ready to be on the field, and you'll see a little bit more of that sprinkled in, which makes, obviously, for us a lot more depth, which is what you want.
Yeah.
And when those guys start to get ready, it's like, okay, now again, trust the process, trust yourself going through it, and being ready for a Friday night. And I think defensively we're playing pretty well, and our guys are dialed in.
Grandview is 3-4 overall, and I noticed that they have played a similar schedule to ours. And you talk about having guys that are ready. This looks like a team on paper that I would say we got to go to Grandview to play, so we need to be ready.
Yeah.
But this looks like a team that's going to be a really good matchup for the Kearney Bulldogs. Let's talk about Grandview and what you know about them.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be a good game on Friday, and we got to again continue to stay dialed in, continue to focus on what we're doing, and worry about us and not anybody else, because they are dangerous. They're a dangerous football team, and they're well coached across the board. And I think they get off the ball really well. Their D line is big. They got some outside linebackers that are big and physical and run well. And so offensively, we've got the big thing for us is to make sure we out physical and we come to play and we execute and operate like we need, like we should. And but it's gonna be a good football game. They offensively run a little bit of option, so disciplined football. On defense, they're big up front, and they got athletic and speed as a running back and at wide receiver, and you mix those things with a physical, aggressive guys on the line and some speed and the ability to hit you on a big play. You got to be ready, and our guys, definitely got to be dialed in.
Isn't Grandview the one when we played a couple of years ago that went into a Saturday? Was that Grandview?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where my car got hail damage? Not that I recall, but if I remember, we won on Saturday morning, and Buster Lawrence either
caught one in the end zone or intercepted one.
Yeah. I can't remember which one it was, but he was key to the win.
Yep.
Is there any way we can try not to repeat that?
That would
the
be
going into Saturday thing. The weather looks good, I think, Friday.
Tomorrow is
Jim, you had mentioned earlier, and I believe last year or one of the previous years, we were able to listen, folks want to know, unfortunately, we're not going to be calling this game, but I believe that Grandview School District has a site on YouTube where you can actually watch the game. Now, I don't know for sure.
Yep.
Quentin Conway might be at the game too, and he's got his phone with him. Has phone will travel.
And to add on to what Mike said, we're working on it.
Well, that's right. We just can't find a cable long enough that goes to Grandview.
Well, we are. So we're expanding our coverage too, as you might have noticed. Kelly Gentry has now joined us. He's doing our sideline reporting. As we expand our broadcasts, we're working on it.
Does it get any better than this? Yes,
it does, because we're trying to work with the districts, because they're not all these stadiums are different, and they're not designed like the professional stadiums. They don't have the infrastructure, so in the television coverage and all that. But we're working on it.
It's very exciting. It's very exciting.
But we're working on it.
Well, y'all do a heck of a job.
But we're working.
Well, thank you, Coach. We appreciate that,
and thanks to Kelly though for joining us. He came
Kelly
in this
Gentry.
year, yeah.
Yep.
It's great having him aboard, and
what a great guy.
Yeah.
Does it, yeah.
He absolutely is. Yes,
job.
And he's been a coach, and the guy understands these kids. I think he's well connected in the community. He's a guy that we just appreciate everything that he does, helping us out around the studio here, and clearly the work that he does in basketball is just phenomenal. And but the guy's got a great attitude, and he's fun to have along in the booth, and he adds to it. I mean, you'd think, well, wait a minute, you're going to have three guys on the air? Well, you think, well, there's a potential for something to go wrong. Well, the guy just does a terrific
Jim and
job.
Mike don't talk enough.
I know, we need more talkers. But what a great guy. And I can't say enough good about him. But, and you like somebody who actually knows the kids. I mean, he recognizes all these names, and he says, "Yeah, I coached him, I coached him, I coached him." And we're at a commercial break, and he's talking about all these kids that he knows, and so he's got. I think he brings a lot of insight to the game. Yep. Yes.
What do you have to say about that?
I think he's agreeing.
I do. I think he had his boy graduated last year, and
he plays lacrosse.
Yeah.
Yes.
I had him in weight
lacrosse.
class. He does. Hard worker in the weight room. I'm excited to see. I'm not sure, and I don't know a lot lot lacrosse. Other
funny looking
other
game.
two,
I don't think we make enough
I don't
money.
know a lot.
Club,
I don't know a lot, but I know it. Look forward to hearing about how his season's going. Or
I think
it's in the spring, maybe.
I think
it's like you play with a ball and a hockey net on a stick.
Well,
is that it?
It's kind of like I know about as much about lacrosse as I do rugby, and I was trying to learn about rugby the other day, beside the fact that I won't do it. And some guy goes, well, the rules are, there really are no rules. And I was like, okay, then. I'm
in.
And you don't wear helmets.
How we got talking about this?
I don't know either. Well, we were just
lacrosse.
filling time. Yeah. Coach Gray, thank you so much for being with us. Best of luck tomorrow night at Grandview. And folks, if you want to watch it, check it out on YouTube. And Grandview High School. That's as close as I can get you to it. But we will get you all the follow-up coverage on Saturday morning and next week. And, of course, next week we'll have the Coach Gray Show coming back on Thursdays at noon. Best of luck, Coach. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Appreciate you. See you next week on the Coach Gray Show.